Hello, welcome to the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal National Historical Park. This is the Paw Paw Tunnel, and I'm Ranger Stephanie. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Have you ever started something that took much longer than you thought? Well, that's a similar story to here. When they were building the canal and they got to this location, they realized it was going to be very challenging. This section of the Potomac River is called the Paw Paw Bends because the river meanders back and forth for about 6 miles with steep cliffs on the side. And so rather than building a canal and a towpath along these steep cliffs, they realized there could be a shortcut through the mountain here. And so that's what they decided to do. The tunnel would cost $33,500 and take 2 years to build. This was the proposal. And so when they began, on June of 1836, they started at both ends of the mountain and from the tops in these vertical shafts to remove the rock. They thought that they could remove 6 to 7 feet per day, but they were actually only able to remove 9 to 12 feet per week. It was much more challenging than they anticipated. The mountain behind me is 250 million years old, and it's created a mostly brawlier shale formation. It's very brittle rock. It was mud that was lithified, and then when the mountains formed, it was pushed together into different orientations of anticline, of A shape, and a syncline V shape. And it has been at rest since its formation. And so when they began digging a hole, it disturbed that formation and caused a lot of rock slides and a lot of casualties. That 2-year estimate was no longer reality, and the $33,500 was now a comical computation. And so they realized that the cheap labor that they relied on with the Irish immigrants didn't have the skill sets required to build a tunnel through Sorrel Ridge Mountain. And so the contractor involved had to hire expert miners from Wales and England and professional German masons from Pennsylvania. And of course, this increased the price. There's a difference between paying the boy next door to paint your house than a professional. And so when they brought these other people in, it was no secret that they were paid much more than the Irish immigrants. And this caused a lot of animosity and a lot of violence. The contractor was low on funding, and he went 2 months behind paying the workers. The friction then turned on him. And there were riots, there were strikes. The workers threatened to destroy all the progress they had made. 130 people were blacklisted. With the lack of workers, no funding, and disease outbreaks, the construction of the canal came to a halt for about 5 years, from 1842 to 1847. After everything calmed down, they were able to get more contractors involved and more workers, and then they were finally able to complete the last section of the C&O Canal. They had a great ceremony in Cumberland on October 10th, 1850 to celebrate the grand opening. The tunnel during that time was declared as the 8th wonder of the world, but it did not take 2 years and $33,500 to build the tunnel. It took 14 years and it cost $600,000. There's almost 6 million bricks that lined the tunnel. And they had to use that many to ensure that there were no rock slides on the canalers or the mule team. Let's go explore the tunnel. Some of the interesting things in the tunnel is that this is the original railing, and there's still rope burns that you can see from when the mules pulled the boats through. The whole tunnel is 3,118 feet long, so a little over half a mile. But to mark where you are in the tunnel, we have brass foot markers every 100 feet. Here's an example. This is about the middle of the tunnel. So when kids, there were mostly the mule drivers, would walk through, it's a little scary. So sometimes they would sing to try to pacify the fear. You might be able to hear the acoustics of my voice. I'm not going to sing for you though. But I'm going to turn my flashlight off so you can see just how dark it gets. Somehow. There we go. So they built the wall about 5 layers thick, and you can see where we were missing some bricks, just how thick the wall really is with the shale rock behind it. Another cool feature to point out is the wooden bumpers that they put here along the wall so that the canal boats wouldn't hit into the brick and damage it. We have now made it to the other side of the Paw Paw Tunnel, which, if you didn't know, is named after a tree, the Paw Paw Tree. And it fruits in the fall, so you can try one of its fruits. It tastes similar to a banana mango mix. But it had other uses as well. The Native Americans used to use the Paw Paw Tree to make rope and fishing nets and other materials. But the name here of the Paw Paw Tunnel is actually thought to come from a crossing here along the Potomac River during the colonial times.